When it comes to working on anxiety and depression, in my experience, working on the physical is a great way to get the ball rolling in the direction of healing and resolving. This is especially true for those who may have an aversion to traditional therapy, emotional work, or trauma work for whatever reason. Maybe it's just very unfamiliar to them, or perhaps they feel intimidated. Totally understandable, by the way. If this is you, then I strongly recommend to start working on the physical, working on the body, as a way of building momentum towards other areas of healing later down the line. What do I mean by the physical? I'm talking the basics, guys, so things like healthy movement, exercise, fresh air and sunlight, good hygiene and grooming. You know, the fundamentals that we've all been told to do since childhood. These are basic things that we as humans need to do to maintain good health, but that often get neglected if we become depressed or anxious. And though many of us may draw a blank if asked how we should approach our mental and emotional health issues or process trauma, if you were to ask the same group of people, what's something in your physical reality that you know you need to change that you can start today? Most of them would be able to name something pretty quickly. So you might get answers like lose weight, stop drinking, get out of the house more, get more sleep, reduce the amount of screen time or internet use, start eating better. Working on the physical is a practical place to start for many of us because we're working with the body. And so you can actually look in the mirror and see with your eyes the issues that you need to address, as well as the progress you can make as you begin to work on these issues. This was actually the path that I took in the beginning when I was struggling with depression and social anxiety. I found working on the physical was more approachable for where I was at. Also, it was something that I felt that I would be able to do on my own, at least for a while, because at that point in time, I was not ready to bring people in on what I was going through. I was really closed off and I didn't really want to talk about my issues with anyone else. At the time, I was unemployed. I was drinking heavily. I was eating horribly. I was playing video games basically all day, so I wasn't really leaving the house. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't feeling well. All of these behaviors, by the way, were an attempt to drown out my feelings and escape reality. Eventually, though, came the day when I decided enough was enough and I needed to turn my life around. And for me at this time, it seemed obvious that I needed to make some changes to my immediate surroundings. It started with baby steps, so buying healthier snacks, getting out of the house more by going for drives instead of being indoors all day. I started working out and eventually I lost some weight and my skin cleared up. And when that happened, when I got those results, I really dove into it. So this was all great, right? I was losing weight, I was getting out of the house more, I was feeling better, and I knew this was good for me. But it didn't stop there. You see, at the time, I had been shopping at this health food store ever since I changed up my diet, and since I had gained a little confidence, I decided maybe I can get a job here. So I applied, and I did. This was back when I was still dealing with social anxiety heavily. So this was a big deal for me. It was also very difficult at times, I'm not gonna lie. But fast forward a little bit, and I ended up making some really good friends there who were also in their own way trying to work on themselves and improve their lives. So we really hit it off. But I still knew I needed to go deeper. I still knew I needed to address the mental and emotional aspects. I was very cut off from my emotions. It was very hard for me to open up still. It was very hard for me to make deep connections with people. And I knew I had a lot of things to deal with from my past. But because of everything that I had gone through and all the changes I made, I felt like I was ready to dive into that world now. I was also working at the time now, so I realized I actually have money now if I want to see a therapist. And from there, things just kind of took off. I ended up discovering different types of therapies. I met new people. I was introduced to different books, different approaches. I discovered somatic therapy and trauma work. I started going to different events, different meetups. And so in a way, it all kind of came full circle from just starting with the physical. When I first decided to change my diet and lose some weight, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is going to lead me to healing my anxiety and depression. I was just thinking I'd probably feel a little better if I wasn't drinking so much and I got out of the house more. That was it, really. And so for me, the key was just getting started. And that's what I would say to you, just start somewhere. In this video, I'm recommending to start with the physical because I feel like it's very approachable and accessible, but really start where you can. Once you start going in the direction of your healing and you build some momentum, your world will open up and branch out into new people and opportunities and things you could never have seen coming. I spent years ruminating on my issues before I decided to do anything about it. Don't do that. And if you are doing that, start making some changes today. It's never too late. Be kind to yourselves and take care, guys.